I'm going to start this video off with a statistic that a lot of people here are going to find shocking. Now, if you get it, keep it to yourself, or you can comment here. I don't care. But if you don't get it, I'll just leave a comment, say, James, I don't get it, and I'll explain it to you in the next video. But it's the fact that 5 out of 4 people have problems understanding simple math. Now, let me repeat that. 5 out of 4 people have a problem understanding simple math. Sadly, a lot of people aren't going to get that. A lot of people, it's got to go right over the head of a lot of people. And if you get it, you can be amused about it too. So the next thing I'm going to cover is for Trixie. Her YouTube channel is Don't Trust the Rabbit, and she's stating something that, well, if you like me, if you grew up speaking English, there's a lot of stuff that you don't pick up on. But if you learn it as a second language, now there's a lot. English has words that are borrowed from different languages. They have different spelling and pronunciation rules that if you grew up with it, you kind of accept it. But if you're trying to learn the second language, it does make it tricky. It does make it confusing. Now, let me give you kind of a nutshell version of the history of English. Now, if you go back to England, I don't know, the British Isles were settled, I don't know, thousands of years ago. Celtic, Welsh, I don't know what languages the Celts spoke. Then the Romans came in there and added Latin. The Romans left, I don't know, 500 AD or something like that. And then there were various Germanic tribes that come to the British Isles, settle there. So they added German. Then the Vikings, invaded. Well, the Vikings were good at robbing and pillaging and raping, robbing, pillaging, that type of thing. The Vikings were also good at settling and farming and integrating their culture and language into the language. So the Vikings added, Old Norse. Then William the Conqueror came in 1066 at the Battle of Hastings, and for about 300 years, everybody spoke French. So there's a lot of words in English that are of French origin. So that if you listen to German, if you listen to French, if you listen to various Scandinavian languages, you'll pick up a word or two that it's of that language, but it's also used in English. So just like these different languages have their different rules. So that's kind of the reason that English is, to me, it's kind of screwed up, but it's what I grew up with. It's what there is. It is what it is. That's just for Don't Trust the Rabbit. Just make interesting YouTube videos about it, kind of explaining the peculiarities of English. And while I'm with Trixie, it is a handful of YouTubers that are made their home in the U.S., like Armis Merlin. There's Lieben USA. There's a bunch of them that are in German. They're here in the U.S., but they have made their home here, and they're kind of giving their take on things in their native language for their home audience. There's a bunch of them. I can dig up more on Life to Go. Well, they're doing a worldwide thing, but they came to the U.S. 4 or 5 years ago. That's kind of when I started watching their videos. These had a little kid. A little kid's about half grown by now. I'm gonna get to another fully grown kid here in a second. Let me see. Let me get to that grown-up kid. Now, I watched about the first 30 minutes of Sleeper Dude's the latest video. He's doing another USA road trip. This is the 5th one. I've seen maybe 3. This might be the 3rd or 4th one of his that I've watched, and I find them interesting. Now he's checking off a few bucket list of my items. Like the Blue Hole there in New Mexico. There's several places up in Utah and Colorado. There's several places on my bucket list. There's probably a bunch of my bucket list items that Sleeper Dude's probably never even heard of. I don't think it's the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. I've seen the South Rim, but the North Rim I like to get around and see the North Rim. There's a bunch of these bucket lists that narrow gauge railroad that I suggested for JP videos, because he's a rail fan. That's my bucket list, and I doubt that Sleeper Dude even knows that video's out there. I mean, it's a narrow gauge steam train that goes between. So it's been there maybe 100 years. That goes between Silverton, and Durango, Colorado. And to me, and to a lot of people that have done that, because a lot of people have commented on this, they said, That is some of the most gorgeous, some of the most beautiful, scenery that anywhere on earth. Yeah, I would stack up the forests and mountains of that part of Colorado with anything in any other part of the world. I'm not saying they're not equally as beautiful, but they're some of the most beautiful places on the planet Earth. I don't know anyone. They're just beautiful in different ways. Now for Sleeper Dude, um, I enjoy watching his videos that he does with his family. And one thing I would be curious about, he's got 3 kids. He's got a son, maybe 13, 14. He's got the youngest daughter's maybe 14, 15. His oldest daughter, 17. She's got to be 18 here real soon. If she's got a boyfriend, she'd never shown him. Now, a girl that cute, girl that smart, it's hard to imagine she doesn't have at least a few guys that are, that are probably interested in some type of relationship with her. I'm just curious if she's going to stay at home, help her dad make YouTube videos, help her dad do automotive stuff, or if she's going to want to take out and find her a boyfriend, turn him into a husband, and maybe 2 or 3 years she's making these cross country videos, of her own. Maybe her and her husband. I can't imagine her marrying anybody but another gearhead. And maybe her and her new husband, and a couple of youngins are doing that cross country video. They fixed up something that they're taking cross country. That would be cool. That would be interesting. I can see her doing it. Now, let me clear that real quick. Something on Facebook. But anyway, let me get to that video I was alluding to earlier. Kind of give you a teaser, because I've made a couple of videos of these. Now, anybody that's followed my videos for a short period of time anyway, know that I call myself spiritual and not religious. I do believe in a supreme being. I believe we have a soul. I believe in afterlife. Now, I've made some videos where I've kind of gone into my beliefs. This is going to shut off here. So when it shuts off, I'll start another video. I just talk as long as I can, make another video. But I need to make a video kind of going more in depth, video, why are we here? What's the meaning of life? Kind of going beyond my description, my image of the Supreme Being, my image of God. But you can, if I kind of delve into my reasoning why we are here, yeah, that gets pretty deep. So you can see why I would want to make